And welcome. This is a pre-algebra video discussing opposites and absolute value. It is on page 7 of your quarter 1 pre-algebra notebook. What are opposites? Two integers are opposite if they are each the same distance away from 0, but on opposite sides of the number line. So if I draw a number line right here, and I have a 0 in the middle, and we're going to 1, 2, -1, -2. You can see that -2 is 1, 2 spaces away from 0, and 2 is 1, 2 spaces away from 0. So they are the same distance away from 0, but on opposite sides. So 2 and -2 are opposites. Other opposites, 10 and -10, 100 and -100, 1,000 and -1,000. Same distance away from 0, but on opposite sides. Absolute value is a bit different because it does have to do with the distance from 0, but it's not talking about opposite sides of the number line. It just is straight out the distance a number is from 0. So back to the number line, if I take a number line and I have -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, I know that -2 is 1, 2 spaces from 0. And 2, 1, 2 spaces, also 2 spaces from 0. So you can see by using the number line that -2 and 2 have the same absolute value. They are both 2 spaces from 0. We write absolute value using these bars. So I might write the -2, and those bars are asking me how far away is -2 from 0. Well, as you can see in this number line, it's 1, 2 spaces. And if I wanted to write 2 there, how far is 2 away from 0? It is also 2 spaces. Let's take a look at the number 5. If I were to draw a number line for 5, I've got 0, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can see 5 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces away from 0. On the opposite side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is -5. Now the absolute value of 5 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces from 0. -18, that's a bit too much of a number line, but I know that if I have -18, it's going to be over here. On the opposite side, 18 spaces away from 0 is +18. And I know that -18 is 18 spaces away from 0. So if you kind of look at this, you can see that if I start with a positive number, the opposite is going to be the opposite sign, and the absolute value is going to be the same. Whereas if I start with a negative number, the opposite and the absolute value are going to be the opposite sign. Alrighty, how do we evaluate absolute values with negatives on the outside? First, you find the absolute value. That's key. Then you take the opposite of that answer. So if I look at the negative, the absolute value of 6, I want to take the absolute value first. Absolute value is actually a grouping symbol. So these absolute value bars are asking me, how far is 6 away from 0? Well, it is 6 spaces. And then I have to keep the negative. So it is the opposite of the absolute value of 6, which is -6. In the case of the negative, the absolute value of -11, how far away is -11 from 0? Well, I know that's 11 spaces. And this -11, the negative will remain, and my answer is -11. So if we want to just take a quick look at these triads, we can see, first, find the opposite of each number. Okay, -2. We actually did this on the top. The opposite of -2, this is 2 spaces away from 0. On the opposite side of 0 is a +2. 190 is 190 spaces from 0. On the opposite side of the number line, I've got -190. The absolute value of 8. How far is 8 away from 0? It's 8 spaces. How far is negative 3 from 0? The absolute value of negative 3. It's 3 spaces. This has a negative on the outside. How far is 19 from 0? 19, and I've got to keep the negative, so it's the opposite of the absolute value of 19, which is negative 19. And finally, I have a how far is negative 17 away from 0? And it's the opposite of that, so it's 17 spaces away from 0. Opposite is negative 17. That's all for this video. Thanks so much.